Can you guys hear that? The wind is howling. I had a leaf in my tea. Hello, fellow plant people. Welcome back. If you're returning, if you're new, welcome. My name is Jen. I go by The Leafy Geek here, also on Instagram. Today, I'd like to show you a type of plant that I do have several varieties of in my home, but they really don't get a whole lot of spotlight in my house. I like them. They're not my plant of choice, but somehow I have acquired quite a few of them. So I'm talking about AROIDS today. I don't think I've ever featured them on my channel before, come to think of it. It's about time the AROIDS had their own video. I would like to take you on a little tour of the AROIDS that I have in my house. I have some philodendrons, I have some ZZ plants, I have some scindapsus, I have some, what else do I have? Homilaminas. So yeah, let's just go on an easy breezy little tour of my AROIDS. Let's start at my very messy workstation. Well, I guess it's not that bad. Just a little messy. Covered in plants, as you can see. This is where I do my day job stuff, and it's also where I have my grow box, and it's where I film a lot of the time. So that's my little workstation in my living room. And got a few AROIDS over here. Let's start up there. So there's my Raven ZZ, Zamioculcas zamiofolia Raven. They are a member of the Araceae family. It's doing fine up there. I mean, it gets some light, some ambient light, and some late afternoon light. It's doing fine. ZZs are pretty indestructible. Then right here, it's going to be really backlit, but this is my Thaumatophyllum bipennatophytum, also known as Philodendron saloom. And I moved it here because I needed something to kind of pop in this corner and add a little bit of height. And I thought the light would be really good for it. But now I'm not so sure. It's looking a little droopy. I'm going to check. I don't think it's time for watering yet, but I could be wrong. Again, my AROIDS, they're kind of... They're really my learning curve plant, I think. I'm doing pretty good with Hoya. That's my, plant of choice. But AROIDS, I'm always a little bit less certain of, because some of them are pretty indestructible and some of them really need some additional attention. This is one of those plants. For me, anyway, this is my Scindapsus pictus exotica. And this was a plant that I had put outside this summer thinking it'd be really super happy, and it wasn't at all. Got really crusty and a lot of the plant kind of died back, so I took cuttings from it and brought the cuttings in to reroot, and I'm not really sure how we're doing. It's just a very slow, we might have some roots there. Slow to root though, slow to grow, slow to root for me, so I'm still figuring this one out. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so this is one of my newer AROIDS. This is Philodendron. It's a hybrid. It's the Deja Vu hybrid I got from Gabriella Plants. Okay, still pretty new. Doesn't really show any signs of stress or, it got through the shipping process pretty well. This was one of my more recent purchases, probably one of the last of 2020 I will be making. So that is Philodendron Deja Vu. And then over here, same deal from Gabriella Plants. It's another hybrid. This is my Philodendron Macaulay's Finale. Really love the coloration on those new leaves there. Got a new leaf coming out. That's cool. And then, of course, this is going to be terribly backlit. Let's walk around here a little bit. This is my Cebu Blue, and this has been a really flexible plant for me. It's been in a lot of places in my home. It seems quite happy in this spot as opposed to some of the other ones that I've placed it in. I mean, it's not declined at all anywhere I've had it, but it is kind of pushing out new growth and kind of trailing around the curtain rod there. So that's exciting. It's just getting really full and really fun and really pretty, and I thoroughly enjoy this plant. It was quite small. It was a 4-inch pot when I got it. Now it's a big hardy plant. Right, this is also my living room. This is my revamped plant table that's kind of right over where Hound Dog's little space is. North-facing window here. And I've recently kind of adjusted what was on this table. I moved some of my smaller peperomia over onto this little shelf right next to it, which is nice. And then I have a humidifier going here, and then some of my humidity-loving philodendrons are the ones that I found have really benefited from that extra boost of light and humidity, because I also have a grow light. So I still have some peperomia on here. Mainly they're kind of around the front and the side that Hound Dog can use to access the window. She likes to look out the window there. So I wanted to keep dog-safe plants within her reach, even though she leaves them alone. I just don't want to tempt fate and have a toxic plant within her reach. So a couple of philodendrons right here. These are kind of my trio of awesome. I really like all three of these. So I'll start back here. This is my philodendron Moonlight. This one was outside this summer, did okay. I've just recently finished treating it, kind of preventatively treating it, I guess. I never really saw any signs of pests on it definitively, but definitely treated it. So that one's doing pretty good. I don't know if we have any new leaves popping out yet. Might be in process. Ooh, yeah, maybe. Right there. And then right here's my Philodendron Birkin. This one has been surprising. This was one that I picked up online. Wasn't super jazzed about it, kind of stuck it in a corner. It did really fine. Stuck it in a brighter area. It did really fine. And now we've got these beautiful variegatedly striped leaves happening on this plant. So I'm pretty pumped about this one. I'd really like to maybe see if I can, put it in a place that it's featured a little bit more. But right now, that place is taken up by this baby. So this is my Philodendron Brantianum. As you can see, it had started to decline a little bit as the weather changed. I started to notice the edges of the leaves kind of crisping up, and I figured it could really use a little bit more humidity, a little bit more light from where I had it. So I popped it right next to the humidifier. It's right under the grow light here. I think it's going to be pretty happy there. So I'll give you an update on that one, but it's pretty. Oh, I also chopped it. I had to chop the top of this because it was getting super long. There weren't any leaves popping out of the growth that was coming up here. And then, the leaves that did pop out way up here were rotting like right away and weren't forming leaves actually. They were just kind of disintegrating. So I'm okay with it this size. If it wants to stay this size, awesome. If it wants to start branching out a little bit lower, great. That's fine. I really like the way it looks right now, and I just want these leaves to hang on and be happy. So that's why it's here. And right here, I have my Philodendron Black Cardinal. This one I picked up from Tonkadale Greenhouse here in Minnetonka, Minnesota. And this one has been an interesting one for me. As you can see here, this was a leaf. I think I had it in a place where it really wasn't super happy, and so the new growth on it was really stunted and deformed looking and just odd. So I've been a little bit more consistent with my watering for this one, and I obviously put it in a place where there's humidity now, and so this is the newest leaf, which looks a lot better in my opinion than some of the other janky ones that were coming out. So doing okay here with Philodendron Black Cardinal. That's my vanilla orchid, which is growing, man. Got it on a pole. Got 2 vines that are actively just having a blast. Look at that root. Juicy aerial root. Anyway, not an aroid. And then over here, oh, yep, I think I have a couple more on this shelf too. So top shelf here, I have, ignore the really sad looking fern. This is my Philodendron micans. This one I found in a corner, kind of neglected at Tonkadale a while back. It hasn't done much, but I really think that's because I haven't had it in the right conditions. It's kind of a running theme with a lot of my aroids, I think. So I'm hoping that this one will kind of start to pick up, and some of the newer leaves are looking pretty good. They're just a little small. So it was recently put here. We'll see how she does. And then right next to this one, looking like it really, really needs a drink, is my Homelimina Selby. And this one was a big learning curve for me, but I think I finally figured it out. The watering, and I don't know, the light here is kind of a gamble. I thought it would be a little bit better. I might have to put this one closer to the actual window so that it gets a little bit more of that light. It's kind of a little bit far removed, both from the window and the grow light. So maybe a little bit closer would do it well, and then it will be right next to the humidifier too. So those are just some thoughts. And then last but not least, in this part of my house, I just recently rooted up and planted up some Philodendron Brazil cuttings. Oh, I'm gonna have to show you that too. So that's mama plant. Philodendron Brazil. Growing up the container holder thingy there. And so I potted up some cuttings from that one because there were some vines that were getting a little bit too unruly. So rooted, potted, now they're here. And then the last one over here is Philodendron Wend Imbe. This one I've struggled with. I'm really not sure what the care needs are on it quite yet. I've tried a couple of things and it just doesn't seem to be happy. The leaves kind of keep falling out of the base. They kind of keep wilting and then detaching from the base of the plant there. So I don't think I'm overwatering. I'm not sure if I'm underwatering. I don't know. So if you guys have this one and you know how to care for it and how to make it happy, please let me know. That would be great. It's a little bit dark in this corner, but this is my main ZZ plant. This is my green Zamioculcas zamiofolia, and it does pretty well here. It's always lived here since I got it, and it's put out some new stalks. Ooh, it's really dusty. I'm in the process of treating all of my plants for winter. Just giving them a nice bath and some neem and just taking care of them a little bit, giving them some individual attention. So I think this one's up next. But indestructible, really. Alrighty, this is my breakfast bar area, still in my living room. Showed you this the other day in my small hoyas video, where a lot of my small hoyas live. But I do have a couple of aroids over here. This one is another recent acquisition from Gabriella Plants, and oh my god, you guys, just look at the size of these leaves, please. Just look at that. They're so large. This is Philodendron. It's another hybrid. This is the Imperial Red. Gotta clean the water spots off the leaves, but I did end up potting this one up, and there's a new leaf emerging, or shortly it will. But yeah, I was not expecting this plant to be this large when it arrived. It's great. And then over here, this is kind of my last philodendron, or last aroid in this part of my house. This is where it all began, you guys. This is the very first plant I ever owned. It is my heartleaf philodendron. It's also one of the few plants in my collection that I have a name for. His name is Phil. And Phil is almost 20 years old. And if you're asking yourself why he looks kind of small for being 20, it's because this is Phil's second life. He experienced quite a bit of trouble a short while back and had some root rot issues, but rebounded nicely. I was able to save kind of the core of his root ball and took a bunch of cuttings, and this is him today. And he is working up this trellis, made it to the top, and is now working up the cord to this other grow light. So we'll see how far Phil goes. But love this plant so much. Super easy, super happy now that his roots aren't drowning. Philodendron, I think it's Heraceium, heartleaf philodendron. We're in my bedroom. This is the only aroid in my bedroom. My Zenzi. Just living its life by itself in this little corner where it's pretty dark. But doing okay. Probably should move this one. Probably should not have any plant right there. It just doesn't get enough light in this part of my room, so. But it's healthy. It's doing well. Welcome to my plant room that is kind of under construction right now. I've been cleaning in here and moving some things around, so, you know, there's stuff. There's stuff on the floor. There's a hound dog. But here are also 4 more aroids. So over here is my Scindapsus pictus argyrius. There might be a little bit of silvery Ann in here. I did end up combining them. I had 2 smaller plants or 1 smaller plant of each, and ended up trying to fill up a pot with both. And then a couple of vines kind of rotted out and didn't do well, and I can't really remember which ones those were. So there might be a combo of silvery Ann and argyrius in here. And judging by some of these, I would say probably doing A-okay. Here is one of my pothos plants. This is my my jade pothos. Growing quite a bit, doing fairly well. Here's my other pothos right there. This is my marble queen. This one was outside too and is doing all right. I originally had thought it was rebounding really well, moving indoors, and then it kind of had a setback. Lost quite a few leaves that yellowed and fell off, but the plant as you see it now is doing okay. Vining. This one solid green leaf down here, so that's fun. I think this vine is reverting, but that's okay. I like the variation. And then moving back to this one, this is my Monstera siltepecana. This is my only Monstera that I own. And probably, I've talked about this a couple of times on this channel, but probably could benefit from a little bit different light situation, maybe a little bit brighter light. So I might move this one. that's it for this room anyway, as far as AROIDS go. Everything else in here, oh, nope, I lied. Was gonna say everything else in here is hoya or jungle cactus or hoya. But up here I do have one homalomina. This is my emerald gem. And as you can see, doing pretty good. It's got some new leaves. They're small, but doing pretty good. Thank you guys for coming with me on this little video tour of these funny little plants. I know that these are highly sought after. At least the rarer ones are. But, you know, they've never really been my go-to plant. That doesn't mean I don't love the ones I have. Obviously, something drew me to them. And I do appreciate them for what they are, and some of them do look very spectacular and stately and add a lot to my apartment jungle. So that's great. I'm really glad that I got to show you. I hope you guys are doing well. Until next time, enjoy your plants.